All right, boys and girls, this is Old Man Yells at Cloud for Blue Powder Monkeys Patreon, working on the Norwescon program. Maybe one of the last times. I unintentionally today, or I intentionally, but not knowing the timing, wore my old school Green Lantern shirt. And then the HBO's Lanterns, the Green Lantern DC property thing coming out with Kyle McLaughlin. No, that's the other guy, Kyle Chandler. And I can't remember who's playing Jon Stewart because I haven't seen him in anything before, so my bad. Anyway, looks pretty cool. That's neither here nor there. So anyway, what we got going? So yesterday I was trying to show some of this stuff, and the internet was being a real pesky pescadero. So today I think the internet is working fine, but I don't think any of that stuff came through because there was like a little 9-second video, and then that was it. I had done a data merge to throw in all these professional panel member bios. And I was trying to figure out how to bring in formatting because italics was not showing up. Well, good news. No, there's no solution, actually. I'm actually kind of annoyed about it. I didn't use the data merge function in InDesign. I didn't even know such a thing existed because I was kind of so old school. It wasn't a thing that I used. Maybe the InDesign does it better, but the fact that I can't bring text in and retain older formatting is super annoying. Basically, it's cell based, right? So this is a cell, this is a cell, this is a cell, as in kind of a Excel spreadsheet cell, for lack of a better analogy. So I can bring these three things. This is kept in a separate folder. This is an Excel spreadsheet that has the name of the person in one column and then the biography in another column. And you bring them in and you point and go like, put the name here, put the biography here. I even thought that there was a thing I might be able to do where I could change the font, maybe like have Arial and then have the italics just be like Calibri or something. But that was dumb as well, and that didn't work. It just brings everything in as Arial or whatever you have the document set up for, in my case, Sophia. Anyway, I don't understand why that doesn't work. The same reason I kind of don't understand. I mean, I'm not a programmer, obviously. There's a way to bring in and retain formatting with a place function, basically. I'm not sure why that doesn't work for everything, why you can't just use the same coding for it or whatever. I don't know. Anyway, so Affinity, if you're out there listening, I know it's probably pretty low priority, but it would be awesome if your data merge could bring in formatting from, the document that you had it in, and I didn't have to go through here and tediously do italics on like 50 fucking pages. So, speaking of which, today we're doing italics on 50 fucking pages. So, what I'm going to do, luckily it's not easy, but it's easier than it could be. It could be harder. So I'm going to sample that italic text right there. And now I've got my cursor, as you can see here, loaded up. And then I can come down here, find a thing. Yeah, there's nothing in there. So you can do that, right? And it kind of does that. And I don't know if Pathfinder is supposed to be italics, but I'm doing it anyway because I'm not an editor. But I'm trying to re-italicize all this stuff that all these editors worked hard on, worked hard at, and I'm going to send that back to them, and they're going to have to like highlight where I fucked up, and I'm going to have to change it again. So this is going to be a whole 2-step process. The other thing, it's kind of cool that you can just sort of touch the stuff. The other thing I'm doing, which I don't think I'm going to do, I was doing it kind of a spread at a time. I was basically like grabbing, um, excuse me, I was changing all the italics, then reflowing it a little bit to try to take away gaps. Little, excuse me, with the little trick I use. And then I was sort of moving stuff around. But there's the option that some people have dropped out and we may need to remove their bios. So I'm going to kind of wait and see how that comes out. Anyway, so this is going to be me doing this. And you can yell at the screen if you're an editor and be like, that's not right. I'm getting new reading glasses today too, which are actually my proper amount. These are old, crappy drugstore ones. I had gotten some from a company that does really nice ones that are like $30, but you know, you have, I don't know if it's glass, but it's definitely like not cheap plastic lenses, and then they have metal frames. I bought 3 pairs of them and fucking lost all 3, and all within like, felt like 2 weeks of each other. So I finally ordered a replacement pair, 1 pair, and I'm going to try to treat it like gold. Yeah, I don't think that's right. I like it when they just have like, my novel is named this. And I'm like, that definitely is the thing that I zap. You might be wondering what I'm listening to, and the answer is nothing. I have something queued up, but I forgot to turn it on. So I'm going to finish this page and then do that. Yeah, like it's possible that's supposed to be italicized, but I don't know. Editors are going to have to do that. I wonder if this is Michelle or Michael. I wonder if he's Michael or Michael Michelle. I tried to watch The Dark like 4 times and could not get. I assume that's that German like time travel thing. Could not get past like the 4th episode. Love The Wire. And everything I've heard about Dark or The Dark, whatever it is, supposed to be really good. Oh, so music wise, let's get to it. This is a weird curveball. Yesterday, I kind of fell back into ELO, which I do when the stuff is particularly mindless, which this is. But today, I'm going to listen to the soundtrack to Alien Covenant, which wasn't the best of Alien movies. Also wasn't the worst, but does have a pretty dope soundtrack, actually. As does Alien Prometheus, which I think is one of the better Alien movies. That's one that I've gone toe to toe with people on here and there. It got a reputation for scientists doing dumb things, and that's not exactly what happens in it. I think it was unfair. Now, it was clear that Ridley Scott did not want to do alien content in his Alien movie. I wish they would have just let him do his original. Because there's an early interview where he's like, well, it might, have share the same DNA a little bit, but it's not really an alien movie. But then 20th Century Fox, in their meddling ways, came along and was like, oh, you need to have Alien in your Alien movie. And he's like, I don't even really want to call it Alien. It's called Prometheus. Like, I just want to deal with these engineer guys and call it good. And they didn't need that end scene with the alien in it. And yeah, I mean, the lady that runs straight instead of like sideways so she doesn't get squished, like that's just Scott does love his sort of cinematic stuff, right? He's not too concerned about these nerd details. Everybody gets on, have your cinema sins breakdown or whatever, which has completely dumbened the movie going public. But anyway, I also read the original script for Prometheus, and there are things that address some of the problems that people had with it, and Ridley Scott, for the most part, doesn't really edit for story. He edits for action beats, essentially. So a couple things were just inexplicably taken out, either from the rewriting process or from the editing process, that left it open for critique. Boy, that's a whole bunch of stuff that I don't think any of that gets zapped. But anyway, I do like that anybody that doesn't like Prometheus does have to agree it's freaking gorgeous. It's probably, it's probably the best. I hate to say it, it's probably the best looking Alien movie as far as how you want to define your cinematography. I mean, there's great shots in the first one, obviously, but the first one is kind of as a whole. I don't know that anybody would point that it has really good cinematography, but I don't know that it's known for that. It's known for like great shots, mood, and whatnot. And Aliens also has really good cinematography, but I don't know that anybody leads with like Aliens has great cinematography. What is with all, and I'm not picking on this guy specifically. I don't even know Peter, and I'm sure he's a good writer. There's a bunch of authors that want to always have these titles with freaking colons in them, like super long. Oh, that's already italicized, so we don't need that on there. here's Oxford doing the same thing. Getting less and less interested in being accurate with this. The more I know I'm just going to send it to an editor to do. And people's biographies are interesting. For now, make me look a little less blown out, a little more moody. Well, I fucked up there, didn't I? See, I like Rosemary. She's got long titles, but they're all pretty clearly titles that I need to italicize with the ands and the commas and the whatnot. Oh, look, more stuff. Like, no one. I don't know if I'm supposed to. Let's leave those off for now. Boom. Look at that. Probably not completely correct, but there is a 3 or 4 war folk. And they must be doing some panels on conflict stuff. He sent a nice low res photograph, so that's not going to be great. Biographies are hard, man. It's like, say too much, you come across as egotistical or arrogant or whatever. And if you don't say enough, then it's kind of vague and people don't really know what you do. Hey, I'm in the S's now. Starting to feel getting close here. Good job, Shauna. Nice list. I think I do magazines too. All right, that was a bunch of stuff. Got it all. All right, cool. That's in there. Should actually, yeah, maybe that will help a little bit. No, I didn't do that like 50 pages ago. I was moving stuff around at a certain point and I needed those, but I don't need those right now. Yeah, that's pretty good. It's pretty good log line, as they would say. You going okay over there? Yep, looks that way. Okay. Cool. I feel this guy's tree pain. Like we've got a couple of big old trees, one of which is, I think, dead, having to deal with. Oh, that's the title. Okay, let's do it. Oh my goodness. Da, 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 yoink. That might be the winner. That's awesome. I'm not sure why that's here. Oh, it's a hand binding person. Okay. I appreciate that. I've done it. Okay. So it felt like an ad for a second, but it then for whatever reason, and then I think it's send structure, but I get it now. All right, we're good. Guessing they're doing some kind of workshop would be cool. Teach kids how to do bookbinding stuff. Oh, Summer Ash. That's one of the guest of honors. I did a little Jupiter thing on her guest of honor page. Should these be? I'm going to go ahead and do it. I don't know about. I don't know band. I think there was some band names way up above that I fucking didn't do. So I'm sure that'll come back to haunt me. Sonny Drum. Not sure the guest of honors need to be in these. I tried to do a search and, well, I guess this is one space. I was doing a search and replace for a whole bunch of these little gaps that got left all over the place, but keep running across them. Didn't catch everything. Cool. Oh, I'm in the T's and I see V's. I think there's still like a shitload of pages left. I'm at 106. Oh no, getting close. All right. Yeah. This is me without the bathrobe sometimes. My partner was gone for a week, and I was like, I guess I'm gonna go back through Rick and Morty, along with some other stuff. But I usually have one sort of dark thing that I'm watching, and then I have to have. And Rick and Morty can get pretty dark, honestly, but I'll have like Futurama or Archer or something to kind of help offset that. So right now I'm trying to get through Sharp Objects, which is from the author of Gone Girl. I read the book, I should say. I'm trying to get through the miniseries with Amy Adams and Patricia. I can't remember the mom's name. I've liked her, though. She did some stuff from the 80s and 90s and stuff that I liked. But anyway, it's pretty dark. All three of Gillian Jacobs, maybe? The woman that wrote Gone Girl and wrote Sharp Objects and then wrote Dark Places. And I just finished Dark Places last week, maybe. It's a lot. Maybe not. Maybe reading them, because I read Gone Girl in October when my mom was dying, so that wasn't the greatest. And then I read Sharp Objects right after that. And I think I waited like 2 weeks and read Dark Places, and I don't recommend that course of action so much. For example, I just finished Annihilation, the book, so I liked the movie. And they are not this. They are not. They're like, it's like two stories taking place in the same world almost, but not very similar to each other. But anyway, I liked the book actually. It kind of was cool and Lovecraftian and kind of freaked me out a little bit. And then I discovered that it was a trilogy. And then I discovered the fourth one has been released. So it was a four trilogy or whatever they call that when the author adds a fourth one. But it's like, you know what? I am not going to read the second one right away. I'm going to take a little break with rereading Stormbringer by Michael Moorcock. Am I kidding? What's going on here? Well, that works. Why doesn't this work? There's a thing over it. So yeah, I'll take a little. Oh shoot! Take a little break to do some. Because Michael Moorcock stuff might have seemed dramatic and dark back in the day, but it's definitely not that now. There we go. So I opened up the group that this was grouped into and grabbed just the clipping mask. Otherwise, it, as you saw, it would scale the entire block. The entire block of stuff would scale. So I have to grab the clipping mask specifically so that it will scale up from the bottom but not squish the sides in and all that. Anyway, I liked Annihilation. There was one night where I went out and I didn't know this was going to happen, but this isn't too spoily. There's a tower, which is really a well, but she calls it a tower. And there's, a scene where they go explore the tower. And it gets pretty weird. And I think I need to, no, I need to do that. Okay. Well, I chose that passage unknowingly because I hadn't quite gotten into it yet, but I went out on the deck. I have an upstairs deck at night, and we've got a bunch of cafe lights, those lights that are about this big that they hang at cafes that are like little LEDs, and they are timed to come on when the sun sets and then go off when the sun rises. And I got a cigar, and I made a Aviator, I think it's called. It's a gin drink it was supposed to be lavender or purple, but it came out clear because the lemon fucking nuked the lavender liqueur color. So I was like, oh, meh, meh. But anyway, so I got one of those and a cigar and my little Kindle, and I went out there. and decided to turn off the cafe lights so it was dark. Like we live in the suburbs, not quite country, but like at the end of a cul-de-sac. There's a couple houses around us, and we have a street light and all that, but it's pretty dark in the backyard, especially because we got some trees and we have one or two neighbors with like porch lights, but we all kind of like have a mellow porch light that we sort of keep on, and then there might be a motion activated one that's really bright for a second or whatever. But anyway, it was pretty dark. And then I read that passage and it was like, it was pretty cool, but also pretty freaky. But yeah, overall, I liked Annihilation quite a bit, and I liked it differently. I liked differently than the book or the movie. Like I liked the movie too, but for different things. Cool. All right, done. All right, so um, at the end here, we have some people that turned in a photograph, but not a biography that I found, and then some people that just put in their name that are participants, but they don't have a photograph or a biography. Now, I think in the past, those everything had been sort of alphabetized together, but I'm not going to do that. It's not like I'm trying to be a dick or anything. It's that uh, aesthetically, and it is what it is. This kind of thing really dicks with the aesthetics and the flow of the page and all the rest of that. There is a little part of me that's like, I understand why people don't include a picture. Um, if they're concerned about either safety stuff or they don't want people come up and bugging them. Like, I totally get that. And I do understand why you might not include a biography, though, to be fair, if you're doing a panel, I feel like you should have a biography. The people that are coming to that panel should know a little bit about you. You shouldn't be just sort of talking in a vacuum with that kind of stuff. So the no biography thing, I guess I'm not sort of as smooth with as the no photograph thing. I totally get. I don't really get the no biography thing. Regardless, this is me not like capping on anybody specifically or whatever, or even these people in general. I'm just going to throw everybody at the end, basically, that doesn't have two of the three things, or one of the. Actually, it's biography, now that I realize it. Yeah, I need you to have a biography if you want to be included with the other people with a biography. Otherwise, it's kind of the end. And this could just change. Like, I could get, you know, fucking fired or whatever the version is of like, we don't want you to do this again next year because you're being an asshole. That could happen. In which case, it could go back to whatever the next person wants to do. But it was kind of like I guess it's kind of like the annual in school back in the day when they'd be like, also attended, for people that didn't have pictures or whatever. All right, so the next or the main thing I have to do now is to export this so that other editors have a chance to work on it, I guess. Oh, gotcha. Okay. All right. That's going to be it for right now. I may come back. I most likely will come back in like an hour or two and start moving stuff or doing things. And yeah. And then because that'll be more kind of like actual graphic design stuff. I also have to do the staff pages. So I'll do those. So I'll definitely be back like later this afternoon. But thanks for hanging around for the early part of the show.